of steps, and you'll get the hang of it as you move your way through book club. So keep in mind we'll be doing this for 5 weeks while you read The Kite Runner. So if you notice on the announcement this week, I put hopefully some clearer instructions because there are a lot. And so first, you want to locate your group through people in Canvas or in the discussion Getting Acquainted. You should have, now this is my view, so your view may look slightly different, but there are 6 groups. And it looks like some of you have checked in. I'm looking over here on my view. Some of you have checked in with your group, so that's good. It's like 6 out of 8, 6 comments or so forth. So good. So check in with your group. While you're in your group, you have these tasks to complete. So contact your group members through your discussion. Exchange information, so let them know the best way to communicate because everybody's not online at the same time. So however you best communicate with each other. You get to set your roles and responsibilities and your guidelines for the book club. Okay, so I'm not going to dictate those things to each group. 3, get to know each other. Find something in common. You will decide how best to do this. You may want to exchange email, Snapchat, or however, I just said that, however you best communicate. So find something in common. And a lot of times, students will, once they find something in common, then they will name their group. So you can name your group something funny, silly, something about a book, Kite Runner. So, and also this book name or your book club name could change mid-semester or during these 5 weeks. So you don't have to stay married to that name. So then you want to create a Google Doc, and you could reverse this order, of course, however you want to work. So you want to keep a Google Doc to keep track of your reading schedule, so who's doing which role each week. And you go down here below, and you put in your name. Who's going to be the discussion director this week? Who's going to be the literary director, literary luminary, and so forth. So you want to fill in who's doing which role. Now you will notice that there are more roles than there are people in your group. So you only need to take on 1 role per week. I do always want a discussion director. So make sure that that role is always fulfilled. And you'll do that each week. So your first role, if it's my week, or if this week my role is discussion director. Next week my role might be literary luminary. The 3rd week I might be the illustrator, and so forth. So you want to create this Google Doc, share it with your classmates. So here you click on share, and I recommend using anyone with the link can view it, because sometimes you all log in under a personal email and it's not related to Canvas or Los Rios. So copy that link, share it with each other, put it in the document, or I'm sorry, in your, when you submit the assignment so that I can view it. Okay, so let me get out of there. So that's what I mean by create a Google Doc, and then the reflection. So it's the same thing. So this is what I want you to fill in. So put in your name, group member's name, so fill that in. Then also come up with your group agreements. So, this works slightly differently because we're online, but I've done this in class for several years, and it usually works well. But students come up with group agreements like, make sure you read the text before we meet. Make sure, you fulfill your role, or whatever your group agreements are. What if someone doesn't show up or do their role that week? How are you going to handle that? So you all get to decide how you will work cooperatively with each other. Find something in common. So I would say we all are women. I don't know. We all like the A's or the Giants, right? So find something that you all have in common. And then here are your roles here. So you'll fill in this as you make your way through the semester. So you will turn in this document at the end of the 5 weeks, but I do want to see you fill it in and develop it as you go along. So sometimes students will go ahead and fill in all of this right now so that you know what your role is ahead of time, because people read faster or slower. Everyone reads at a different pace. So you may want to fill those in, and I do want everyone to choose a different role each week. So no duplicate roles unless it's the discussion director. So make sure that you take on a different role. Let's see, what else? Okay, so number 6, so the reflection document, I just showed you that. Begin reading The Kite Runner. Now, I know it's a lot this week, and you do have some flexibility in this because pretty much this is what you will be doing for 5 weeks. You'll be reading, and you'll be joining the discussion with your peers. And you're only going to be in that small group with each other. So 4 or 5 people in your group, you'll be having this discussion with your peers. So you have a little flexibility of what you've read, how far you've read, although don't get behind because there are quizzes tied to the assigned portion of reading. So you'll do a book club role. So here's a repetition of what each role is. So, decide which role you're going to take on. And then look, we already have a few people who have already started to fulfill their role. So that's great. So those are the instructions for each role. There was one more thing I wanted to say about, studying. So with each week, there is a study guide and there is a quiz. So if you go over to modules, you will see that, too far, you will see Kite Runner Study Guide, chapter 1 through 6. And here are some questions and terms and terminology that I think are important to the text and important for you to look up and be aware of as you're reading. So you don't have to define all of these, but keep in mind that some of these will be on a quiz and in some way. And then also it's really helpful if you have this in the back of your mind while you're reading the text. So here are a bunch of questions, and it covers 6 or 7 chapters actually. And these are some of these are really general questions, and they may repeat throughout the text, but these are things that I think about when I'm reading, and these are things that I want you to think about when you're reading. And so if you know the answers to all of these questions, then you'll do well on the quiz. So you can help each other study for the quizzes, and this will also help you stay engaged in the text. So I know that that's a lot of guidelines and a lot of things to do, but this week the main thing is to start reading, connect with your group through getting acquainted, discussion board, and then start to fulfill your role. Okay, so here are the instructions again. Book club roles. So check out in the modules week 5 and locate the book club guidelines, and here's the schedule again so that you can stay on track, and you can download a PDF of the schedule or a Google Doc of the schedule. So I hope that was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, but your group is really who you should rely on during these next 5 weeks while you're reading and discussing the Kite Runner. So I probably will not be, chiming in too much with your discussions, but I'll be taking a look. But I won't be adding my own comments and questions because I really want you to direct what you want to get out of the text. Okay, and again, I love teaching the Kite Runner. It's a wonderful book. Please be aware that there may be some cultural differences. There's some religious differences and cultural norms that might be different than yours. So please be respectful of each other and each other's religious and cultural practices, or the ones that are presented in the text. So try not to be judgmental, and be open to learning about the cultural aspects in the text. So I hope that you enjoy reading The Kite Runner, and I hope that this was helpful.